All right, everybody ready? All right. I'd like to call a public hearing for the Gurnee Village Board to order. It's a public hearing to consider contributing $600,000 and rebating up to $900,000 of sales tax revenue to Kensington Development Group, LLC, to allow for site development and construction of a minimum 10,500 square foot commercial building for Cooper's Hawk Restaurant at 7735 Grand Avenue. Roll call, please, Andy.
Hood.
Here.
Thorstenson.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Garner.
Here.
O'Brien. Present. Thomas.
Present.
6 present.
All right, once you're done, then I'll have Brian swear in anybody from the public, so go ahead. Ellen.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So we're very pleased tonight to be able to bring forward a project that I think, as you know, has been in the works for quite a while, and at the top of our residents' wish list for quite a while. So Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant has 45 locations across 10 states, 13 in the Chicago area, the newest of which was actually developed by Kensington. We're opened in Morton Grove just a couple weeks ago, at the end of March. The other closest locations to us would be Wheeling, Arlington Heights, South Barrington, and there is one in Wisconsin located in Brookfield in the Milwaukee area. So the concept is actually has several parts to it. It's what they call upscale casual full-service restaurant with a full-service bar. It has a Napa-style tasting room and a retail gift shop, really all under one roof. So this physical concept, plus the membership-driven wine club, pulls from a wide geographic area. They've got a devoted following. I think I read that nationwide there are 450,000 wine club members. So, you know, this is a devoted following, and they sponsor wine dinners and theme parties, and it's really all about the community and the wine. So when they were looking for locations, and they've been looking for a while, it was really about finding a location that was embedded in our community. They really didn't want to be just a commercial building stuck in a commercial area. They really liked the idea of a site surrounded by neighborhoods and looking forward to establishing that relationship with the community. And then they seemed very sincere about that, and I think they were, in that it took them this long and the expertise of Kensington to be able to deliver this site for them to get them to finally, you know, decide to locate. Because of this geographic appeal, this regional appeal, we think it fits very well with Gurnee's market position and the idea of visitors, you know, seeking out this destination site, which will be located on near our western boundary, just benefits the entire Grand Avenue shopping and dining corridor as these visitors, you know, see these other businesses. So recruiting distinctive users like Cooper's Hawk, which has this following, and the user-generated revenue of bringing in visitor, you know, revenue is key to our brand, and it's the way that we provide village services without a property tax, as we've done for so many years. So this is a strategic move. Pending approval of tonight's agreement, Cooper's Hawk would be joining the College of Lake County on the site of the former Lowe's. So while CLC is completely transforming the interior of the building, as you can sort of get a glimpse here, and they've hired Gurnee-based Leggett architects to do that work. It's going to be tremendous. You know, at the same time, Cooper's Hawk and Kensington will be developing this new outlot on the 2.5-acre parcel at the corner of Rollins and Grand. So the inside and the outside are both going to be adding square footage at the same time and really taking on a whole new life. And the way that that's happening is that Kensington actually made it possible, helped facilitate CLC's purchase of the building, but in so doing, they also retained the contractual right to repurchase that corner for a restaurant, should it become a possibility. So to achieve this full site utilization, obviously at the time that we're in, post 2020, in such a short span of time, the Lowe's has actually only been dark for a couple of years. To completely be able to repurpose it and add square footage both in and out, I think is very exciting, and we're glad to be able to bring these two good neighbors together. So as with our prior redevelopment agreements, this one is with the landlord, in this case Kensington Development Group. So Kensington will develop the outlet and build the building and lease to Cooper's Hawk for a minimum of 15 years. And to accomplish this, the agreement really needed to have two components to it, one of which is tied to completion of construction. That's the direct contribution, the $600,000. That's as soon as Cooper's Hawk opens its doors to the public, that's the agreement we're proposing. Actually, Kensington would have liked it earlier, but we held fast to that they need to be open. So we know that that happens. The remaining $900,000, a maximum of $9, for a total of $1.5, has to be earned. It's earned through a rebate of 100% of the state shared sales tax and 50% of the village's home rule sales tax, with us retaining the other 50% as we do for capital. And of course, the 1% food and beverage tax is retained by us throughout the entire term. So with those two revenues, even in the first 4 to 5 years, staff has projected that we'll recoup that initial direct $600,000 contribution. And then after that, for the remainder of the term, the annual net new revenue to us is about 100 to 150. And then beyond that, when the agreement is expired and we just have Cooper's Hawk, hopefully for the next, 10 or more years, that revenue would likely be over $300,000 annually in sales tax and food and beverage tax. Then you add to that the anticipated property tax revenue, which at the size of this building is probably in the $60,000 to $70,000 range, which obviously doesn't benefit us, but it benefits our jurisdictional partners. And then on the front end, the building permit revenue is anticipated at about $100,000 for fiscal year 21-22. So several components to, to how this all makes good financial sense. The stellar track records of, they're coming out of a pandemic. Cooper's Hawk is still adding locations. They've grown quickly but very smartly since 2005. It's still under private ownership. Same guy who founded it still involved. And here they are 45 locations later. So we feel good about that track record. We certainly feel good about Kensington's track record. They developed our Aldi in town, and they know Cooper's Hawk, having just opened the Morton Grove location with them. So there's long-term partnership here. So we have that confidence, but to undergird that confidence, we have structured the agreement so that the capital investment, minimum of $4.5 million in the building, minimum total $7.5 in the whole project. We're getting a solid additional commercial building that we will have in our community, serving us long beyond any one tenant and how they may or may not perform and what their longevity may or may not be. So with all of that consideration, we are really looking forward to lots of exciting, grand openings and groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings out at that Lowe's site, putting it to active reuse. And staff respectfully recommends adoption of this agreement. Appreciate everybody's interest and support. And I do have Chad Jones with Kensington, if there are any questions for Kensington.
And I'll add, and Ellen minimizes how hard we worked, probably for the last 3 years, at least a dozen developers in every meeting. I want a Cooper's Hawk. Bring me a Cooper's Hawk and we can talk. And I'm very pleased that when I said that to Kensington, when they were looking at this site, I said I want a Cooper's Hawk, and you delivered. I had my doubts. And we were probably not at the top of Cooper's Hawk list either. They were familiar with the area, but we did a good sales job. Kensington did a good sales job, and it's the incentives that are really bringing this to us. At the top of the list has always been that higher-end restaurant that's non-chain, although 45 is getting up there. But this really has been consistently from our residents, whether it's social media or emails to me. So this was a tough one, but we always knew it's hardest to get that first high-end restaurant. And
Right.
then you start building out. It's nice use for the West End.
Yes.
Great repurpose of that Lowe's site. This probably alone will make up for the sales tax we lost from Lowe's with the following that they have. So this is quite the feather in our cap for Gurnee to land this. Questions from the trustees? Okay. Is there anyone from the public who'd like to comment on this public hearing? Okay. You'd have to be sworn in if you did. All right. So if no one has any objections, we'll vote on it at the regular meeting. Right now, it's just a recommendation to move this to the board meeting for a vote.
Recommend.
Motion by trustee Quinn, or trustee O'Brien, second by trustee Balmas. Roll call, please.
Hood.
Yes.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
6 aye.
All right, we will be voting on this at our regular meeting. So, Brian, do I have to close this one and then reopen it?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
and
all
we
right.
have to wait 5 minutes, yeah.
Wait.
Okay. So do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing? Motion by trustee Garner. Second by trustee Thorstensen. All in favor, say aye. All right, we have 5 minutes before the next, 4 minutes before